Elmo. How's Orla handling Elmo? Yeah. He, I'm not even gonna mention it. I'll just tell Jim. He says that's, or Jen. He says that's okay.
Okay.
So. I know.
How you doing, Don?
Oh, pretty good.
How'd you make out that you were proposing the other day on the acquisitions property?
Which one now?
The one out on Montgomery.
Oh, yeah. In fact, I'm putting together.
You had a whole slew of things you had to address.
I know. I'm putting together the narrative today, and I'm still having a problem trying to. I found somebody that would buy the building for me
Oh, really?
and release it back to me. So I'm torn between us purchasing or us leasing.
Yeah.
Still got to do the same stuff to the building. It's a difference in the way you treat it from the accounting standpoint.
Yeah.
We don't own property. We have 2 branches, but we don't own anything. Yeah, and I found that to be, in the government's eyes, a little bit better because they hold all those assets against you.
Right. Yeah.
And in this case, it's just you write the check every month, and they don't seem to care as long as you can afford to write the checks.
And as long as I got the contract.
Yeah. So yeah, we made pretty good with our realtor. He's from Brooklyn, and he owns a lot of property in Saratoga.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's fairly new up here, so
Oh, really?
he's been buying property. He's not a developer. He's just a realtor. He buys it, owns it, and leases it back.
Really?
Yeah.
Would his first name be Christian?
No, Vinny,
Okay.
little Italian guy.
I got you.
It's funny because when I first met him, he came in with 2 other guys. All 3 of them are short, stocky, like a little Italian. They all have pointed shoes on.
Yeah.
And, and he says, "Hi, I'm Vinny, and this is Vinny and Mrs. Vinny." You know, we're like, holy cow! We bought the big building down on Broadway, Ruins building from Tom Ruin, and I was in there. And he come in and he says, "We're going to do this, we're going to do that. I got this coming, I got that coming." And after I got through with him for the past couple hours, I said, "Hope this guy is he's a legit guy." I said, "Sounds like he's going to tear the town down."
Don't know where that check's coming from.
But he's super friendly. He sends me a Christmas card and a bottle of wine all the time. And he's a nice guy.
Nice.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll grab that one. It's an old branch building. It's up along Route 30, or 29A, I guess. And it's been sitting there for a couple of years. Some law firm had used it, and they broke it up into like 6 or 8 different offices. And I'm going to see if I can't do the same thing. I don't need the whole building. It's 4,000 square feet. I can get by with 2.
So can you stum up it also?
Yeah. Yeah, so that way we can hold land under our charter. We can hold land that potential to use it. You can't put a big building up and just say you're going to rent it out forever. So you got like 7 years before you can grow into it. They changed the rules back when had a lot of credit union mergers, and they merged 2 credit unions that had used buildings together, and they were stuck with all these assets.
Oh, so that made them.
Yeah, so they forced the credit union to start selling this stuff off, and they said, this is a loss. But now they changed the rules so you can own them. Yeah. Government's involved in all of it. That's why it doesn't bother me too much when I see government here, because I live with it.
You know what? It's not easy. It's not easy doing business in the state.
I know. They're an odd bunch. They have a big hammer.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the problem. Is that even if you're doing everything right, they get paid to find something wrong. So usually leave them some scraps someplace. Yeah, so it's a good organization. It's been 55 years now.
What's that?
I've been 55 years now doing this with the credit unions.
Is it really? Been doing it for 55 years?
Yeah, I've managed 5 credit unions over the years.
Which ones?
I was at Sunmark,
You were?
First New York for 10 years.
When were you?
Goes way back. 80s, beginning of the 80s.
Really?
Yep.
It's about, well, I love St. Martin.
They're good credit union, yeah.
I mean, they're solid in what we're dealing with and everything.
Yeah, Bruce Bodette, who was the CEO there for many years, he used to work for me at First New York. He was my CFO.
Oh, really?
And when Summer called me and said, "Would you like to come to work for us?" I said, "No, I tell you though, I got a good guy to come over there.
Yeah.
He'd be worth it." So he spent his retirement years there, and I went in just before he retired. And,
Now
and
he retired when?
oh, it's been
Oh,
15 years, maybe 10 to 15 years. He's living down in Key West or Keys. Yeah, he's fisherman, so he loves it down there. Yeah, so it was First New York, and then a little credit union down in another GE credit union called. That one was First General.
yeah.
That one went belly up. They called me and asked me if I would take it to clean it up, and we couldn't clean it up. We had to close it up. We merged it into Sunmark.
Yeah.
And then I had one up in New Hampshire, a teacher credit union up in Manchester. So yeah, I've
You've been around.
got my feet wet in Florida with a savings and loan. Yeah,
Oh, good for you. Good for you.
I love it though. I love the business. It's just I'm sad I have to leave because I'm getting older. I could spend another 20 years doing this.
Really?
Yeah, I love it.
Really love it.
I like the people and the philosophy.
Yeah.
Trying to help people.
Yeah. I gotcha. Sounds good.
A good crowd tonight.
All right. Good evening, everybody. Thanks for coming out on March morning or March evening, but it should be warmer, but it's not. So hopefully this will be our last hurrah. First on the agenda tonight, we have John Ballet, a resident who wants to talk to us about Packaging Reduction and Recycling Act.
Thank you. Yes, I'm John Ballet. I'm a resident in the town of Malta. I'm also a teacher with the Ballston Spa School District. Start that up. There you go. I'm a teacher with the Ballston Spa School District. I teach science and I work in a sustainability program with a partnership with Hudson Valley. And we discuss sustainable issues, and plastics has been on our radar for quite some time. And last year I saw this bill in the assembly that was going through to reduce plastic waste. So I'm here tonight to ask the board to adopt a resolution support for New York State Assembly Bill 1749, or commonly known as PREA. I teamed up with the group Beyond Plastics, which is based out of Vermont, Bennington College. Is David Bank, who's a former regional administrator for the US EPA. So what is PREA? PREA is the Package Reduction and Recycling Infrastructure Act. Last year it passed the Senate. Senate passed it, and it had resounding support in the Assembly. Had 76 affirmed votes, but the Speaker was not There's a lot of support behind this bill, and towns and counties are rallying and adopting resolutions. This year we expect it to pass the Senate again. It also has 76 Assembly members who voted yes, and we just need a few more. Carl Hastie says he needs 82 to bring it to the floor. But the bill essentially reduces plastic packaging by 30% over 12 years. So it's not a huge ask. We're not getting rid of plastics altogether. This is talking about consumer packaging. The remaining packaging should be recycled or reused effectively. It makes companies pay municipalities to manage waste, which is tax savings for everyone in the room. It reduces toxic chemicals and protects the health of our communities. So to get into that a little further, I'll explain that. You might already know plastics are made from petrochemicals. There are 16,000 different chemicals that are used in plastics, which really makes them difficult to recycle. And that's why our recycling systems have not been effective in the United States for recycling plastic. Nearly half of the plastic we produce in the U.S. is used for single-use packaging. Plastic spoons, strawberry containers, and virtually everything you see packaged in Walmart in plastic. Recycling is ineffective. Like I said, less than 6% of the plastic that's produced each year gets recycled. The rest of it either goes to a landfill, incinerator, or it's ending up in our oceans, where we estimate 11 million to 15 million tons of plastics enter the oceans every year. So this bill aims to try to reduce plastic waste for single-use plastics. Our waste stream is pretty expensive to deal with, and New York City spends $500 million a year to manage their waste. How much does Saratoga County spend? I actually just distributed a report that Beyond Plastics put together, and with Saratoga County's transfer stations and the city of Saratoga Springs, we spend about $500,000 a year to manage that waste. And so reducing the plastics in our waste stream is going to save taxpayers money. In the US, plastics make up 40%, plastics and packaging, 40% of our waste stream. In that report, it says they estimate about 23% of our waste stream in the Northeast. So if it doesn't go to a landfill, it ends up at an incinerator, and of which there are 10 in New York State, 1 right here in Hudson Falls. And some of our waste goes there as well. But unfortunately, for every community that has an incinerator placed in it, there are higher rates of cancer, asthma, childhood leukemia, and low birth weight. So anything we can do to reduce our waste that's going to these incinerators is a real benefit. And we want to really do what we can to help out our neighbors in Washington County. PREA, when we break it down, like I said, it reduces plastic waste. It asks us to reduce plastic packaging 30% over 12 years. So it's really asking our manufacturers to incrementally reduce the amount of plastic they're using. Not overnight, so this is not a big ask. It reduces all secondary packaging, and I wanted to define that, maybe bend to BJ's. This would be secondary packaging that holds the bottles. Like, it's not used for packaging material, it's a convenience. It would reduce secondary packaging by 50%. And it requires 75% of the remaining packaging to be reused or recycled by 2052. PREA asks companies covered under the law to pay fees to a fund that then gets distributed to municipalities that pay to have their waste managed. So there's a fund that gets set up, and I can talk a little bit more about that. But recyclers get inundated with plastic waste because I don't know about you, but when I have the strawberry container, I throw it in the recycle bin, and what do we think happens to it? It goes to a place like this, and then it just goes to a landfill eventually. The externalized costs for manufacturers of these materials are not accounted for. We're the people that end up paying for these externalized costs, which include costs of recycling and waste disposal, environmental justice impacts, healthcare impacts, where it's estimated $250 billion in the cost in 2018 just from plastics. And the annual social cost of plastics, if you incorporate all of that, is estimated to be about $1 trillion a year. So if we can reduce plastics, that's what this bill is asking for. It really makes a big difference. Now, we ask, who's going to be responsible for doing this? What manufacturers? This does not apply to packaging companies or manufacturers that gross less than $5 million a year. So our local maple syrup producer would probably not be subject to this ruling. This is going after Kraft Foods and larger companies. This means 95% of the farms in New York State would be exempt from this ruling. Agricultural cooperatives with 50 or less employees, and then all of these products that should be packaged in plastic anyway, pesticides that really need it. So again, this bill is not banning plastics, it's just asking us to reduce single-use plastics. It asks to reduce toxic chemicals in packaging materials, things that we shouldn't have there in the first place, and you don't want your child getting exposed to if you happen to leave that packaging in the living room. Note about those chemicals, I was just looking it up. A California study at San Francisco in 2021 analyzed the blood of pregnant women and their newborns and found 109 chemicals in their blood, 55 of which had never been reported in the human body before, 42 of which are mystery chemicals because manufacturers do not have to report what they put in their packaging materials. So we didn't know where these 42 chemicals were. And lastly, PREA asks for a strong definition of recycling. When we say something's recycled, it means it will be recycled. Currently, there is another bill called the Affordable Waste Reduction Act in the Assembly and Senate. It is not likely to get out of committee. It's an industry-backed bill that's pushing chemical recycling or advanced recycling. This PREA is the #1 bill being lobbied against in New York State by industry right now. It really is a David versus Goliath kind of effort. That's why I'm here. Natalia Fernandez, Senator Natalia Fernandez, had been a co-sponsor of the Senate bill, that industry-sponsored bill. And she took a tour of a chemical recycling facility. She was so appalled by what she saw, she took her name off the sponsorship of the bill. So chemical recycling essentially is saying we're going to take plastics and make them into fuel. That's not recycling. So that's the industry is trying to push that. PREA says when it's recycled, it will be recycled into another type of material that can be used again and again. The savings in the first year that are projected by Beyond Plastics that did the analysis are $1.3 billion in over 10 years to New York State taxpayers. Here we can look at this block of counties of which Saratoga is one of them. And it's projected $17 million in savings. Saratoga is the largest populated county, about 40% of that. So my rough estimate showed that we were going to save about $700,000 a year or $7 million over 10 years. If we look at that report I gave you from Beyond Plastic, their estimate was $600,000 a year or $600 million. What about grocery prices? So the other side of the coin is if we reduce plastics, our price is going to get more expensive for consumer products. Consumer Reports has put out a memorandum of support saying these extended producer responsibility policies have shown no significant increase in consumer prices. The USDA tells us that 2% of the cost of the materials that we buy is associated with packaging, so it's very negligible. Companies can and do adjust and absorb the costs. We're talking about large companies that can do this. And when I talk about large companies, we're talking about 80% of our groceries are controlled by 4 different companies: Kroger, Walmart, Albertsons, and Costco. So I looked up Kroger, and Kroger's gross sales last year were $34.2 billion. Their net profit was $2.6 billion. So there's a little room in there to kind of adjust for packaging materials. Who's supporting this bill? 73% of New Yorkers are supporting this bill. So this is not like a big ask. It's not a partisan issue. 30 plus environmental justice groups, 300 civic and environmental groups. I just asked the Science Teachers Association of New York State to support it, and they signed on to support it. 130 faith leaders, New York City Council, New York City Mayor, New York State Association of Counties, 27 counties and towns, and community boards. So there's a lot of support behind this bill, and I'm hoping Malta will want to jump on and support that as well. If you need more information about that, Carrie Warner put out a survey last year, who's supporting this bill. 86% of her constituents asked that they want producers to be required to recycle their packaging. So right here we have 86% of her constituents that want this bill to pass. So that's why I'm here. I'm asking the town board to consider adopting a resolution. Just not to pass it. It'd be great if we could pass it tonight just with the Malta Town Board. I just want you to pass a resolution of support and send it to our representatives to let them know Malta's behind this bill and we think it's important. All right. And if you have any questions, let me know.
But I do have one question. Thank you, John. Very informative, and I think, we definitely need to start moving forward with less plastics. Have you presented this to Saratoga County? I know you haven't presented it. Have you reached out to?
the Saratoga
Right.
Board of Supervisors, but I certainly will if they would like that. I would do that. Sure.
Yeah, I don't, it wouldn't hurt for the county to get behind it either.
Yeah.
So,
The counties that have signed on, let's see, Albany, Columbia, Rockland, Schenectady, Sullivan, Tompkins, and Ulster. And town of Saratoga just signed on last year too. So it's just, we're trying to get to the towns and have the towns support it. So that's it.
Good presentation, John.
Thank you, Craig.
Very good.
Appreciate it.
anybody else? Any
You're a good
questions?
teacher.
No other questions. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yep, thank you. So next on our agenda, at our business meeting every month, we honor a resident of the month. And so, come up to the podium. So I can say some nice things about you.
Oh,
So this month's resident of the month, we try to honor residents that go above and beyond to make Malta, a better place. And so this month, Don Young is our resident of the month. He's the behind the scenes guy at events for our local theater troupe. He's a somewhat reluctant resident of the month because the spotlight is usually on his wife and the troupe. But these productions wouldn't be possible without his support. Don has shared his talents with the town, volunteering behind the scenes with Malta Spotlighters Theater Troupe for over 16 years. He's been musical director and the sound engineer. He's worked on lighting, sets, and other various backstage work for 34 productions so far. They're already gearing up for their 35th production, which is Seussical Theater for Young Audiences. I had to look up for the FYA. Auditions, for anybody that might be interested, auditions will be in late March. So Don also helps at other events that the Malta Community Center, including Cafe Malta, which is next Friday, several parades, and he's a member of the Cultural Arts Festival Committee. Don and Elise also perform in a group called Happily Ever After, and this is a fun and entertaining group for all occasions and all ages. I've been to a couple of their events and a lot of laughs, sing-alongs, and all sorts of stuff, costumes. So thank you, Don, for your service to the town of Malta.
I am so happy to help out. Thank you.
Now you gotta come up and get your picture taken
Oh, I gotta get my picture. Okay.
with everybody. And don't trip over them.
Thank you, everybody. Unexpected.
But well deserved.
Oh, boy. Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much. I'm glad to help.
Never met you before, but congratulations.
That's right. Thank you so much. All right.
Thank you.
Next, I will ask you to stand if you are able to salute the flag in a moment of silence. And during that moment of silence, I would ask that you take the time to think about our servicemen that are in harm's way as we speak. Even our former councilman, Matt McLaughlin, is still in the Middle East. So I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everybody. Next, I will entertain a motion to accept the town clerk minutes from our 2/23/2026 meeting.
So moved.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Next up is comments from town residents. I would ask that you try to keep your remarks at 3 minutes or less. Don't everybody rush to the podium.
I'm running. Fast as I go. My name is Leon Diet. I live at 112 Dunning Street. I know on the first agenda here, we have the moratorium that you're proposing, and I just want to plant a seed for the next couple of meetings on the designation of the DX3 on the Northway Fellowship property. I want you to close your eyes and visualize that as you're coming into Malta Technology Park and Luther Forest, what that one monstrosity is going to look like on Dunning Street. You're talking about a residential area, nothing to do with Route 9. You got Luther's Forest Technology Campus that you're trying to expand, and they're going to see this eyesore of DX3 on that property by itself, standing out. When you're talking about changing your zoning codes and the moratorium on construction, I'd like you to keep that in the back of your mind, what that's going to look like to the town of Malta.
But thank you.
Yep.
Good evening. My name is Michael Hensler. I'm here with my wife Cheryl. We've been residents of Malta for 40 years, for the past 28 years on Ruley Road North. And I thank the board for having these meetings and having an open forum and the work that you do for the residents of Malta. I know it's a tremendous undertaking to balance growth with the natural beauty of this area. However, what we can never put in the background is safety. Safety is predominant in everything we do. 60 days ago, I requested a response on 2 safety issues, which I never received. As a matter of fact, I received 4 notifications that I haven't gotten to it and things are crazy. And I'll get to it in 2 days, which that response was on the 25th of February. So to me, that indicates safety may not be a priority of this board. My 2 safety issues revolve around traffic. The default speed limit in New York State for residential streets is 30 miles an hour. Most residential streets are posted speed limit of 20 to 25 miles per hour. However, on Ruley Road North, there's a posted speed limit of 40 miles an hour. It's an antiquated sign. That sign was meant for 30 years ago when there was a traffic bridge over the Ballston Creek, which now has been replaced 25 years ago by an historic footbridge. 40 miles an hour is a dangerous speed on a road that has no sidewalks, very high pedestrian traffic walking to the Zim Smith Trail, bicyclers, and apartment buildings with mostly young families and children that play out in that road. As a matter of fact, over the course of the winter, I've seen 3 mailboxes knocked down, and I inquired from my neighbors, how did that happen? The plows knocked over the garbage cans and mailboxes. I see the school bus racing down Ruley Road, only to put the brakes on heavy as he navigates the turn around the corner. 40 miles an hour turns into 50, and I'm here tonight to ask you to take a hard look at that before a major accident happens on that road. The other concern I have is this, and I know with growth, there comes some obstacles and inconveniences that we need to deal with. However, I inquired and asked for a traffic impact study for the new circle that's going in on East Line Road and Route 67, especially with the new high-density housing that's going in there. Now, from my research, it's your responsibility as a board to determine whether or not that traffic impact study needs to be conducted. That's by the New York State Department of Transportation. I'm sure you would have conducted a traffic impact study before the approval of that circle. Is that correct? Pardon?
I would assume so, but I don't know.
Why has it not yet been produced when I asked for it 60 days ago?
I haven't gotten it yet, so,
Haven't gotten to it yet.
not to it. I did request it.
And so this is a compromise of safety once again. And that's your foremost responsibility of the citizens of Malta. So my concern with the residents of Ruley Road North and Marvin Woods, Ruley Road North and Marvin Woods, is we are going to put in a traffic circle with more high-density housing at the corner of East Line Road and 67. And it's going to create undisrupted traffic pattern for us that want to access getting out of Ruley Road North onto Route 67. And how do I know that? Because we already have it coming from the east. You cannot turn during high volume traffic periods because the traffic pattern is continuous coming out of the roundabouts. And the same situation is going to occur from the volume of traffic that comes from Ballston Spa, the west, to the Northway. There will be undisrupted traffic. And so you surely must have conducted a traffic impact study to determine that, right? Was it conducted? I would take that as a no.
There has been many traffic studies done. Usually they aren't done within the town. They're done within the region. But I can assure you, safety is very important to me. And I have made sure the town has done traffic studies in our town, which are on town roads. I can assure you that. And I fought long and hard. But every traffic study that the town does is very expensive, and usually it's handled through the developer that is putting a project forward.
You bring up some interesting points. Expensive.
They are very expensive.
What is the cost of a loss of life or a severe accident that's going to occur because a traffic impact study was not conducted? To me, I don't see a traffic impact study, so I can't say one was done.
About all the other streets that have asked for the same exact
Well,
thing, you have to approach it with a conservative thought process.
I don't know what conservative means in regard to safety, but
Well, in this state, you wouldn't know what it means anyway, so.
that's not it. I know what conservative means, but not in regard to
They're
safety.
not conservative.
So all I'm asking for is to produce those two traffic impact studies. And I'll leave it with this, is how can these decisions be made without any transparency to the community? And then I know what the outcome is going to be. We're gonna have to live with it. Just deal with it. And I think that's a very short-sighted, narrow decision by this board to allow these types of ongoing, long-term decisions to be made without the input or providing that information to the residents that are going to be affected by it. I appreciate what you do. You're paid for what you do. You're voted into the office of what you're holding, and it's your responsibility to behold that information to the residents that vote you into office.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
Other comments?
My name is Susan Nuttall. I'd also like to submit it for record. Oh, sure. Sorry. At the town board meetings on November 24th, December 8th, December 22nd, January 26th, February 2nd, and February 23rd, residents have formally requested that this board adopt a resolution opposing placement of a 180-foot New York State Police cell tower at the Dunning Street Barracks residential neighborhood. That's 6 meetings. In November, we were advised that Supervisor Young advised me that she was willing to introduce that resolution in January once the new board was seated, and that she would work with the town attorney to prepare the resolution. That seemed to me that was a commitment. January passed, the resolution was never introduced, no draft was presented, no explanation for why it was not done was provided. At the January 16th meeting held with Assemblywoman Carrie Warner and the New York State Police, residents were excluded, but I was asked to submit questions which were provided. Since that meeting, I have asked repeatedly for the status of the questions submitted, the status of alternative locations offered, including the town of Malta property, and the current status of the SECRA process. We've received some vague responses from Supervisor Young and the town board. When asked specifically why trees have been marked for removal at the Dunning Street site, we were again given kind of a vague answer. Meanwhile, site activity seems to be advancing. The board knew that a formal resolution opposing the Dunning Street location was time-sensitive for inclusion into the SECRA record. That action was not taken. The opportunity to formally place the town's position into the environmental review process was ignored. This inaction will have consequences. The state appears to now be moving forward at the original residential site without documented municipal opposition, without documented follow-up on alternatives, and without clear answers to residents' questions. So my question is direct. Why was the promised resolution not introduced when it mattered most for the SECRA inclusion? If the supervisor changed her position, residents deserve to know when and why. If the board chose not to act, that decision should be stated plainly and on the record. This is not about process confusion. It's about accountability while a 180-foot structure advances in a residential neighborhood. Residents deserve some clear answers. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan. Anyone else? Public comment? Okay, we'll move on our agenda. The next item is comments from town board members and department heads. I just have one thing. Periodically, I receive information about revenues to municipalities that host cannabis dispensaries. And so I got one the other day. I'm just going to, as you may know, Malta has opted out, so there's no dispensaries in Malta. Year to date, as of the end of February 2026, the town of Milton has received almost $54,000 in revenue. The town of Greenfield has received 22. Half Moon has received a whopping 114,000. South Glens Falls 25,500. The town of Saratoga 3,600. Waterford 38,377, and the city of Saratoga Springs 67,259. So just putting it out there. Any other comments? From town board members?
Yeah, regarding those figures that you've presented, I want to thank you. Maybe the next time you read them, you ought to consider the cost at the courts and the crime of driving after they've smoked a little bit, because there is a big cost in that. Just go back and look at all our court figures that we have here and ask what the percentage of the drugs are here in town.
Thank you, Craig. Anybody else, any comments for tonight's meeting? We'll move on to our action items, of which there are several. The first is to adopt the local law to further extending the moratorium imposed by local law number 3 of 2025. This actually, we are currently in a moratorium. This is a local law to extend the moratorium for another 2 months while we finish our zoning consideration. So I will entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Next is to, sort of related, to set a public hearing and refer local law amending the zoning law of the town of Malta to the Saratoga County Planning Board.
So moved.
So he said so moved?
Second.
So this, we're going to formally introduce, I'm pleased to announce that all that paper that my colleagues got is the formally introducing to the board and the public the culmination of months of work on behalf of the board, the planning staff, and our consultants, Barton and LaJudas. We held 4 public workshops with the board to review our entire zoning code and bring it into compliance with the 2023 adopted comprehensive plan. Staff and consultants spent countless hours fine-tuning the documents that you all have before you. All of this information is available online and in the town clerk's office for public perusal. She'll have a printed copy. And we will be hosting a public information session on March 19th at 6 PM in this building, or in this room. And at that, we will summarize the changes to the legislation and answer any questions that any residents may have. And we will, of course, encourage any and all public comments during the public hearing. And that public hearing, we will be setting for our next meeting, which is on March 30th. Any further discussion?
Question. If I go through all these documents here on that, and I find that something was not addressed, do we have to reschedule a other hearing after it's in here?
If that is the pleasure of the board. We're pretty,
Legally have to have a other public hearing though. Steve?
if there's something substantive
Yeah,
missing or
yeah, if
excluded.
so the law that's been provided here is the intended final update for the public hearing, either at the public hearing or before.
Yeah.
If there's substantive changes that the board agrees need to be made, and they're material substantive changes, yes, we would have to reintroduce the revised local law and then schedule a new public hearing on it to make further changes. So, if, for example, we have the hearing on the 30th, there's some changes that are requested and the board wants to make those changes, they could then direct staff and me to update the local law and schedule
At a time.
Yep, and then schedule a new public hearing because of the time periods that are required.
Gotcha. Because even tonight, there was a request from a resident here that asked for an update, and I don't believe that is in there. And it's a very valid issue, I think. And I also have requested a density review in the form-based code, and I don't believe it was in there. Is in there now.
Right, so those are all questions that the board can discuss, at any of the meetings and after the public information session, and then also, at your public hearing and any of the meetings to say, these changes that were requested need to be implemented or are necessary, and if the support of the board is to make those changes, then the local law would need to be updated and then, reintroduced and start the process over from this point forward. So if they're, minor corrections, typos, things that are not materially substantive, they could be corrected, with a record just indicating what's been done.
Thank you, Steve.
Yep.
Did we vote? Just motion a second.
Haven't voted yet.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The next 2 items are dealing with our relatively newly formed water department. Our town attorney and our town engineer have been working diligently to update our Chapter 165, our water ordinance. And so this is a new water ordinance that addresses some of the things that we found in the past couple of, year and a half. I don't know how long we've been in the water business, year and a half probably. And the second resolution is to adopt water specifications and standards. So for the first, I'll entertain a motion for the first to set a public hearing for the local law amending Chapter 165. That public hearing will be also on March 30th at 6 PM.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Again, next is the water specifications and standards that our town engineer, town designated water engineer has been working on. So I'll entertain a motion to accept those water specifications and standards.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The next three resolutions are regarding, I think we talked earlier about a project to build a multi-use trail from Tamian Pass to up on Chango, all the way to connect with the sidewalk that's on Hannaford on Chango. This is a project that's kind of relative to another project going on there. So the first resolution is to authorize the establishment of an escrow account from the Northway 11 Community Center execution and an escrow agreement for matching funds. So the developer has proposed to put money in escrow for us to use to provide the matching funds for the grant that we intend to apply for. So I'll entertain a motion to establish an escrow account.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Next resolution is to establish an additional building and planning bank account at Ballston Spa National Bank to hold those matching funds. So it would just be a dedicated account for that. It's one of the requirements for the grant application.
May I ask a clarifying?
Can we have a
question?
motion and a second first?
So move.
Second.
Would this be exclusively for this one project?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So I have a question on that. Who is the one that's signing to make deposits and withdrawals?
Well, for right now, it's going to be the one deposit. There won't be any other monies put into
Just
this account.
deposits in.
Just the one escrow payment from the developer that is putting in the 129.
That answers my
Yep,
question.
and that money won't come out until we have to spend it for this particular project.
Just to be clear, though, the resolution does provide that the supervisor, the planning department coordinator, and the controller would be authorized signatories on the account. So all the money's going in now, but it can't come out until it's used for the specific purpose and the trail's created and all that is done. But I just wanted to be clear as who you asked who's going to sign off on it. And
So there's three that are eligible to sign in and out on that.
correct.
Well, why is there three?
Well, you got your controller typically has control over funds. The building and
Supervisor
planning
does that.
coordinator is designated as, under the escrow agreement, the party to monitor the funds, to receive the funds and monitor the funds. And our planning department's going to oversee the project. So that's why the building and planning coordinator is named in there. And the supervisor also has responsibility for funds in the town of Malta. So they're the three likely parties that would have access or control over those funds.
Okay.
So to clarify for anybody that might be out there, it's a 20% match for the grant, matching funds, and that is estimated to be a total of $168,000. The $129,80 will come from the escrow agreement with with the developer. So, and the additional for the 20%, $39,000 will come from our unappropriated fund balance. So, did we have a motion and a second for this? Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Last week, we saw a presentation by our representative at Creighton Manning regarding our Petals project. We're getting to the point where that hopefully will be actually moving that forward a little faster. In that, as part of the secret process, the State Environmental Quality Review Act process, we are intending to declare ourselves as lead agency for secret review for the Petals project. So I will entertain a motion.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Every year, the town of Malta embarks on a program for residents to bring their bulk waste to our town hall. And so this year, we only had one bidder for that, and that was County Waste and Recycling Services. You have before you the cost. One thing that's kind of different is last year we had to pay for mattresses, but this one doesn't have any charge for mattresses. The cost is generally in line with what we've paid in the past. So just for information for the public, the dates are April 25th and May 2nd from 9 to 3. The residents, if this resolution passes, will be able to bring their bulk waste.
Is this item 9?
This is item 9. Yes.
Did we skip over 8?
Yes, you did.
Oh,
Okay.
no, declare lead agency for the pedals.
No, there's a two-part section of that, isn't there?
Then my agenda is not correct.
The one that you motioned and seconded and voted on was to authorize the submission of application for New York State DOT, Transportation Alternatives.
Authorizing the submission, so I skipped 7. To authorize the submission of an application for the New York State Department of Transportation Alternatives Program for pedestrian improvements along Chango Drive. That was the third Chango one.
That was 7,
That was 7. We did that one, right?
right.
Skipped.
We have,
Declare lead
7 and
agency.
8.
Okay.
yeah.
And then
So
I will
go back
entertain a
to-
motion to authorize the submission of the TAP grant for the pedestrian improvements along Chango Drive.
So move.
we did that one. 8,
Telling me we didn't.
7.
We definitely did the declare lead agency.
We just voted on the seeker one. We need to do the,
Correct. I skipped the authorize the submission of the grant. This is our town designated engineer, Labella, and will apply for the grant for the multi-use trail. For some reason, I've got Chango on here.
It is,
We have to be
All right.
declared as
All right,
yeah, there's three
lead agency.
things. The first was to create the escrow account to receive the funds.
right.
Second is to
Establish the
actually
additional
submit
account.
the application
This
for
is
the
to
grant.
authorize the submission.
And then the lead agency. And we just went right from the account to the lead agency. So we're just formally authorizing Labella to complete the process that we've, by other resolutions, started. And that is for the deadline's March 12th.
Right.
So we want to get this submitted on time.
Okay, so I'll entertain a motion to authorize the submission of an application to the DOT.
so move.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? There's too many trails between Petals and Chango. All good stuff, though. Now we can do the award of bid to County Waste and Recycling Services for the townwide refuse. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next resolution is to approve a 5-year contract for professional services with the Capital Region Transportation Council, the CRTC. They provide professional transportation and engineering planning services to the town of Malta.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion?
I have a question. They also provide us with a lot of our traffic
Yes, they do.
studies when they help design and fund, true?
Yes.
Thank you.
So that may be where we need to go to find a traffic study for the
I think so,
roundabout. but-
yeah. I'm sure it's been done.
Yeah. Did we have a motion second? Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Next is to accept a proposal by Labella for additional services. This was actually a project that we did back in 2024. We needed additional inspection services at the time, and this invoice kind of fell through the cracks, so.
So
I don't-
moved?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Again, when we installed our mid-block crossing, we needed additional inspection services from Creighton Manning. And so this is that resolution to approve that billing.
So move.
Second?
Further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Next, these are a couple of sort of updates that are from our budget process. We need to upgrade our archaic accounting software. It's probably 30 years old and no longer supported, so we appropriated money in our budget to upgrade that. So that's what this is, number 13.
So moved?
Second?
Further
discussion?
Yes. Just to clarify, this software is for the accounting
Yes,
and the controller, okay.
yes.
And just for my own, so you said they're discontinuing the current software. We need this.
They're no longer supporting it,
That's what it is. Thank you.
and it needs to be updated. Our comptroller doesn't agree, but it does.
I have
Works
one
fine for
question.
her.
I'm sorry, this is flip. I shouldn't do this. But are you still going to have the book?
Oh, yeah, you're going to have the binder.
No,
I'm sorry, I should not.
we're not gonna put that paperwork out to save money to pay for the software.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Next is to approve the purchase of meter reading equipment and software, upgrading our water meeting equipment that seems to be failing.
So moved?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
We are, this next one is to authorize our water distribution system operator to attend a licensing conference to get further licensed.
So moved?
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? There's a vacancy in our town clerk's office, so this is a resolution to appoint a new deputy clerk for our town clerk, Sherry Davenport. It's going to be effective as of April 1st.
So moved?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Aye.
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 Any opposed? Last is an appointment and again, this was appropriated in our budget, a position that was appropriated in our budget to approve our building, our facilities manager to hire a mechanic. And so as per resolution, he's found somebody he wants to hire.
So move.
Any second?
Second?
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Last resolution is a budget transfer to increase the receiver of taxes postage. Any motion?
So moved?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
At the end of our meeting, we have an opportunity for additional comments from residents. Any?
Tara Panesso, Mayapple Way. I just want to comment on the state police communication tower potential. In terms of the state environmental review process, the attorney for Crown Castle, who does want the tower at Dunning Street, said that that process is ongoing. The full environmental assessment form, Part 1, is done with photos of the visual impacts of the project. So why can't the town board and multi-citizens be presented with their findings on an ongoing basis as each important component of the review is done, like at a town board public meeting? The next step of the environmental review is the cultural and historic resources of the site, which is expected to take 3 to 4 months. Why not present that? Because after that, the full packet will be done. So in the interest of transparency and to address any questions or comments, this is the public outreach that the Crown Castle lawyer and spokesperson who came here in October has said that they would do. I think one public meeting in October is not enough, the one public meeting hearing that we had, because that was well before this whole thing began. We need more information in order to give the right feedback, proper feedback. Finally, the New York State Police has designated itself, as we know, as the lead agency for this CEQA review. The site is owned by New York State. Crown Communications serves as the New York State's wireless communications site manager, and they want the tower on Dunning. So what type of input do the town residents have when the deck is that stacked? And I'm wondering, does the town board have any input either? What does this new 2026 town board want? What do you guys want in terms of the tower location? Finally, if the CEQA review is ongoing and won't be done for several months, like what Susan brought up, why are trees being visibly marked for removal for the tower on Dunning Street? And another question is, if we can't get any questions answered, like during town board meetings, how are we going to get them answered? You know, I mean, I'm just not sure how that's going to happen. We come up here, we speak, we talk, we ask questions sometimes just to say what we're interested in, what we're curious about, but it'd be nice if some of these questions were sometimes answered. Thanks.
You know, this is an ongoing process. I'm still pursuing the other avenues. I've been told that the tower on this site is not dead. We did have a very promising opportunity to hopefully leave it where it was, but that deal fell through because the developer wouldn't sell the land to the state police. So we're still plugging along. I'm as frustrated as you are, Tara. We actually, from the beginning, have gotten very little information about even the building of the barracks. They seem to be more communicative now. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to get portions of the CEQA review, even, you know, until the entire CEQA review is complete. I do have some stuff that that the Crown Castle representative had. I do have the photo evaluation. I don't know if I can put that up on our website. I think I must have it electronically someplace where it shows what the visual impacts would be. I have that much. So.
I just want to say something to that. I was going to bring that up. Yeah, I think I did see that on the website a while back, all those pictures. And, you know, I think, was that Google Earth? It says something about, what was the term that you used when you sent me an email? It's not, it was like not a balloon.
It's balloon. They use balloon
okay.
technology.
A balloon
How it works,
technology,
I have no
but I
idea.
saw those pictures, they were in black and white, you know, maybe they look better on the website, I don't know. Maybe it's how I printed them. But anyway, it doesn't show you anything. It's not, if you go on Mayapple Way and take some pictures now, it's going to tell you a lot more. They're not up-to-date pictures, and they don't sell you, they're just Google Earth. You know what I mean? That's what I mean. We need to see things like that to be able to give them input and say, well, if you were living on Mayapple Way, these pictures it'd be right in front of you, all over the place, the houses and everything. So, yeah, all right, I just wanted to answer that.
Oh, no, only one time. No, you can't come up.
6 minutes,
I guess I just wanted to ask again, and it may not get answered here because I understand the process, but have you decided not to put forth the resolution that was discussed in November? The town is not willing to go on record to state that they do not want that located there?
This board has not actually discussed it as a board. I mean, we will. And-
Okay.
and I can put it on as a discussion item for our next meeting.
Okay, because like I said, this has been talked about since September, I think. I mean, I don't even know. But, and the other thing that concerns me about Crown Communications is that, like Tara said, they're in with the state police. That's what they want. My question is that when they discussed that tower over in the tech park, okay, and they said it wouldn't work, whatever, but there has to be reasons why it won't work. I mean, they're supposed to provide reasons why alternative locations do not work. It can't just be a statement from them saying it won't work. They're supposed to do the balloon test, they're supposed to do all those things and give statements and facts as to why that won't work. And the same thing with the tower, with placing the tower here. So I've decided to put in a request to get information on the secret, a FOIL into OGS and to the state police, and to try to find out where that secret process is standing right now. If I'll get it, I don't know how that will work. But as I've said before, we can say whatever we want. We can show up to the secret process and give our opinion. But if we don't have the backing of the town board, it's all mute. So I'm just putting that out there again, and I hope that maybe at the next meeting, we can get a formal answer as to how the town is going to proceed. Thank you.
It's also my understanding that those alternative sites will be addressed in the final secret documents. They have to evaluate them.
But again, I mean, I don't want to talk back here. But again, if they don't or they do, from all the research I've done about all these other places that have had issues with cell towers, if the town is not behind us, it's not going to fly. Just going to put that out there again, okay? Thank
All
you.
right, thank you, Susan. Anybody else?
Can I speak as just a citizen and not a
Your
board?
microphone's not on though, for whatever reason. Oh, yeah, it is. I'm
It is.
sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm not talking to you as a,
Wait, you're going to not speak in your capacity as a board member. Go over there to speak. Just so it's clear. Thank you. Yep.
Hi, I'm Alex Friedman. I sit on the town board, but I'm not talking to you as a town board member. This is just a little announcement of something kind of fun. Friday, March 13th at the Malta Community Center is Cafe Malta, put on by Elise Young. Don Young's going to be there. I will also be a singing waiter there. It's a fun little Irish kind of, I guess, thing. There's local artists and performers. It will be a fun time. There'll be, I think, light desserts served. So if you're interested, tickets are available. That's all.
You
Alex.
actually could have announced that from here, but.
I thought you were commenting on the
Yeah,
state police
right.
barracks
Yeah,
and the seekers. So if you have every right as a
Say that,
resident to speak your mind on a matter.
Right.
But if it's something that's being discussed as the board, you shouldn't do it from the board, but announcing that. So I apologize. I thought you were saying I want to talk about the seeker requirements, not as a board member. but
No, I
as
had a
president.
separate,
So
separate item.
I apologize for making you yo-yo around.
I'm young and spry, it's okay.
The next meeting as a board member.
Yeah, well, that's.
Anything else from my colleagues on the board? With that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?